Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander, and I'm here to host our show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Today, I'm a co-host Barbara with me. Are you there, Barbara?
Yes. Hi, everybody. How are you,
Hi.
Johnny?
Good. Now, today we were talking about adoption, and it's an interesting issue because it's a lifestyle thing that somebody chooses. When they have a baby or something and they give it up to somebody else. But then you start raising questions of like, do you talk to the do you find out later who the parent is? Do you you know but then by the time that you go and you look for it, you realize that this person may not see you as a son or
I
something. Does that make sense?
know.
Yeah.
Well, it does make sense. I hear you on that, and this adoption topic is going to be very interesting because it happened not to me, okay? I wasn't given up for adoption, but I have a sibling who was because he came along a couple of different ladies later for my dad, and it wasn't the right time to have that to them to raise the child. She was against abortion, so she did have the baby and the whole pregnancy. My dad's girlfriend, I was 18, 19 years old. I was getting ready to leave to Nashville to be a flight attendant from Seattle. So I pretended I didn't even know what was going on. And I was living with them, my dad's girlfriend, in her home. It was a temporary thing for my senior year in high school that she was doing something nice for us. So I could continue to go to that school and live with my dad. So, anyway, she had a little fling and she got pregnant. My dad knew about the flings and he caught her in the act, actually. So he wasn't really sure if this was even his child. But she did carry the child. By then I was gone. So I didn't even know, really. I wasn't really told for sure that this really did happen. She was really pregnant with my dad's baby until he grew up and he called me. This wasn't that long ago. This was about 7, 8 years ago that this nice boy, young man, well, not boy, young gentleman, he called me up and he said, I'm your brother. hmm It happened to me. That did. And now we have a relationship. He comes down to visit me. He actually worked for Kevin Spacey as his right-hand man. And he was from Maryland. Let me go back. I was living with my dad and his girlfriend my senior year in high school. Marilyn was looking for a couple to adopt a baby that she cared about. She was giving birth to. She wanted to, of course, find the best parents. Well, she didn't have a closed adoption. You were speaking about that earlier about how do you know? Can you find your mom and dad? Sometimes you cannot because it was a closed adoption, meaning the people who are adopting you do not want to talk to the birth mother or father. They don't want anything to do with it. They just want to have their baby and move on. Well, my brother, half brother, same father, he grew up and wanted to know who he was. Where did he come from? He told me he never felt very comfortable, like not comfortable, but fit in. He felt like there was something missing. He thought maybe there's something more out there, a connection with a family member that he could have more. Well, so he sought. Why did he call me and not her first or my dad first, you may ask, or my brother, Terry? Well, my name was on the I mean, not the birth certificate, the adoption slip. The person who is, they only put one person on there to contact if you ever need to ask a question. And Marilyn, who gave him up for adoption, put my name on there when she gave birth. I was really surprised about that because I was just a teenage girl living in her home. Of course, I was nice, but not as nice as I am now. I mean, you're all into your own world. Teenagers are not that easy. And I always had a friend over. We had late nights. Sometimes I just wouldn't even go to school. My dad never made me do anything. I would go to school just so I could stay on the softball team and the band. So I was free. So I'm sure that wasn't so easy for this Christian woman who's probably strict with her boy that lived there too. He was 10. For this teenager, I mean, we would go out in our mini skirts. My girlfriend, my best friend, and I, Jennifer, we'd go out at night and not come back till like 5 a.m. in the morning and just wear that same mini skirt, high heeled outfit with a backstage pass on the skirt to school the next day. And she, I could tell, thought we were going to be in trouble walking through the door. And my dad said, "Oh my gosh, guys, how did you have a fun time? Did you meet the band?" So she, I thought, didn't approve of a lot of things that I did. But years later, when I was signing autographs in Seattle at the new place after they tore the kingdom down, she showed up with her new husband. I'm talking, this is years later. This is when I was engaged to Lorenzo Lamas, and we were signing
Mm.
autographs at a car show. And she showed up there and said, "Oh my gosh," she was chatting with me for a little while. I met her new husband, and she said, "You're so nice." And I go, "Wasn't I nice when I was 16, 17?" She said, "Not as nice." But that's it. So I mean, that really meant a lot to me. So she put my name on the slip of paper to get in touch with. She thought of me instead of putting my dad on there. I don't know what their deal was. I wasn't in on their conversations. So then also, guess what? She named the boy my half brother.
Uh, Barry?
No, not Gary.
No,
Starts with a
she's not.
J. J. Starts with a J.
John?
Jeff. Jeffrey.
Mm.
Okay, this was the thing I wanted to say actually. Who she gave her baby to was named. Guess. Guess what name? The mother. Guess what the mother's name that she gave her baby
Barbara.
to? Yes. What about the middle name?
Uh, Ann?
Yes. My name, Barbara Ann. A Barbara Ann raised him because Marilyn thought must be a great sign. I found a Barbara Ann who wants to adopt a baby boy, and this must be the couple. So that's how she like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, boom, I'll do that one. And so that was kind of cute, but I was really surprised because I just thought, nobody, if they didn't like you, they wouldn't do that. Say if Marilyn really didn't like me, I was a bad, mean teenager, she wouldn't give her baby to somebody named Barbara Ann, my name. She would have a bad feeling about that probably. So that made me feel good. I'm just saying. So those were little things that I found out when he then told me. So I said, "Have you talked to your birth mother yet, Marilyn?" He hadn't. I was the first one he contacted. And then he did, but he didn't get it such a great reception. She wasn't so interested. Some people feel maybe a little awkward. It might be hard to get to know this son. Maybe they feel they have just wanted to run away from the fact that they actually gave a child away. Although some people are very fine with that. They have no qualms about it. Some people felt pressured to give the child away because they were young and their mother was pressuring them. So there's all different kinds of scenarios, but there is such a thing as closed adoption and open to where you're free to here's some more information if you want to look up, go meet your parents, the original parents. I want to ask you, Johnny, though, how would you be, say you put yourself in the shoes of a person who was adopted? There's so many issues. First, you have to, maybe you would like to tell your parents that you love, that adopted you, what you're up to. And that might be hard because they might be hurt by it, that you even want to
Yeah.
search
I
for
would probably
someone
be
else.
very curious about my adopted parent, but the people that gave me up,
I would be too.
because it's the only reason I say that is the only I I don't know. I mean, just because of curiosity. I mean, it's not like it's like they wouldn't be your genes. They would be, the ones that adopted you wouldn't have your genes, but the ones that gave you up would, you know.
Well, what if you didn't get a very good reception? Because he didn't get a very good one from Marilyn. He said she was cold when she answered the phone. And I said, yes, but you have to remember, she may be answering that phone at a time where the whole family's looking up at her. Like, who is it, mother? Like, she may be put on the spot. Maybe they were all sitting down for dinner and then the phone rings and she's thinking, well, it must be an emergency. I'll just tell them to call back. And then it's you. And then it's you. And she's like, I don't I don't know what to say. And you took it as maybe cold. And, I was trying to make him feel better about it, but they weren't that interested. And then my own father, who is the one of the best fathers in the world, I just had the greatest childhood. He did so many things with my brother and I, special things, and every moment we were together was very, very quality, special time. So to see him not receive this other child is surprising to me. But he can't really get past the I think he's ashamed. He's ashamed. He's like, you don't give a child away. But then some people think abortion is better than giving a child away. Actually, they do. They'd rather just not live with the guilt of actually giving it away. And then, like you said, roaming around the earth, maybe trying to search for you, and then you put on the paper closed. And they may be like how you would feel. I just want to know. I'm too curious. I want to know. I want to see them. I want to hear them. I want to see if I'm funny like them or they're like me
Mhm.
in certain ways. It's so interesting. And some people grow up, they don't have that. And he also said that family adopted another boy. So they would have two. They'd, so there was two adopted boys there, and he did not click with that boy brother either. And my half brother, Jeff, he gets along pretty much with everybody. He was Kevin Spacey's the movie star's right hand man until Kevin Spacey, Johnny, where'd you go? Look up at
Yeah,
me. Kevin Spacey, how he was charged with the pedophilia and
yeah.
coming on to underage boys. Well, he got out of that, but that whole thing caused my brother to lose that position because he didn't need his right hand man on the movie set when he wasn't doing movies. He was in the courthouse defending himself, Kevin Spacey, for so long that my brother then had to go find something else. And I don't know really what he's doing. I've got to get in touch with him, but he's living his life. Okay. So he's probably uh pushing 40 at this point, you know?
Mhm.
But he was a little blonde towhead. Actually, Marilyn did stay in touch with her little baby that she gave away with the mom. The mom wrote her letters back and forth and sent pictures back and forth because the mom, her name was Barbara Ann, who adopted him, was like that. She wanted to, make Marilyn feel better. Look, your little boy, we're taking good care of him. He's happy. I think that's a good thing. I think that I would do it that way. I would, if I did have to give up for adoption, I would like to hear she's happy and see her smiling and looking for Easter eggs and stuff. So, what would you do? Say you got a woman pregnant, she did not want to have it, and you weren't married. You don't have a right in it. If she wanted to abort your baby, she could, I believe. You wouldn't have a say. And I know I'm not going to mention names in this story, but I know a person very close that the woman told him after the fact, after she had the abortion, and he was crying for days because he's like, I would have kept that child. He would have.
Mhm.
And she was able to do it because it's was her body. Do you know the rules now? I don't think that they can even have abortions anymore, people.
I think it depends on the circumstances.
It's not out of convenience. So then the man is more protected. If he doesn't want to get it, have it done, he wants to have his baby. Could he actually then force the mother if she didn't want to go through a full-term pregnancy? Who knows? Maybe she's 13 or 14 or 15. Maybe she would be forced to because she couldn't get an abortion anywhere. And anyway, he's saying, no, you don't kill my baby. I want my baby. That has not been asked before that I know of, where a man could
No,
say, hey, no, I don't want you to have an abortion. I have rights. If he's married to her, if he's married to her, does he have the right to say, absolutely do not go abort my baby? It's an
I don't
interesting
know.
question, isn't it?
I've never heard of it. I mean, I know it's probably been talked about, but yeah, I don't know what exactly the legal aspects of it is.
Interesting. So this adoption topic, that's my story. What if I didn't get along with this brother very much? You know what? Out of all the brothers, because I have another half brother, but he was out of marriage. My dad had him while he was married to the second wife. So he was in his life upbringing him. But so this one is really good friends with me, his sister, his other half brother, and his other half brother. Okay. He became friends with the siblings. We accept him just fine. We're fine with it. But the parents that had him, which is my dad and Marilyn, they are not receiving him well. In fact, they're not even in touch. And I just think, don't you want to know him? I tell my dad, he looks more like you than any of us. It's the spitting image, really. It's crazy. And he said, I tried. You want to know what happened when my dad called him?
What
Because
happened?
somehow, like he said, here's my number, or oh no, I was involved. Here's his number. Do you want to call him? He called him, and my dad said that he didn't answer it with warmth, that he didn't really seem like he was wanting to talk. And I said, oh my gosh, same thing. You never know when you call somebody what they're doing. He probably was right at work. He probably was checking somebody out. Was when he was very young. So he's working at some like hockey shop. He's a producer now, but he was just a young man starting out. And my dad called him. He goes, I was at work. That was the reason. And he goes, I was like shocked. So he was like that. But then when he tried to call him back, right when he got home, my dad was done. My dad was like, he didn't answer nicely. He didn't answer the right way. So I felt bad about that. I've never known my father to act that way. And then down the road, I talked to him about it again, and he's like, you just don't give a child away. So I know he feels bad about it. He doesn't want to face it. Some people don't want to. They can't face death. It's too painful. Well, I think this one could be right up there with it. But you have a second chance, though. You have a second chance now. It doesn't have to be awkward. It's not awkward with us. And he just said, well, I gave that chance. And then he started talking to the wrong person. My dad started talking to the wrong person. And they said, I don't think that's your son. That's not your son. And then that got into my dad's head. And I said, well, you guys should take this DNA test.
Did
So,
he?
no, I think both parties have to really want to know. And one party's kind of like, I don't really care. These things aren't cheap. To Who's going to fork out the several $100s for it? I've had to do that when my daughter's father was killed.
Hmm.
So it was expensive back then. That's like 18 years ago. So it's hundreds of dollars. It, I mean, neither one did it, and neither one took the steps to do it. So it's probably not that important. When you watch these shows, these reality shows and you see these people connecting and crying and sobbing and hugging each other. That wasn't our family scenario at all. You just heard what it was. It was not that. It was not that at all. And I don't think it's that with many. I think the minority is the one where they've been searching, they've been wondering all their whole entire lives, and then they finally found each other and they're crying on stage. We're not even close. Not even close to that. It wasn't like that. Do you have any
Wow.
questions? Yeah.
Well, I
You must
mean,
have some questions about
no,
this.
no, I mean, I'm curious because I guess it's a lot of philosophical things, really. And a lot of times, just when you think you've dealt with every avenue or every aspect of it, you run into another philosophical question, like, is it really your son? Is he your son in the sense that have you earned it? Because there's the father that you can say that someone is your biological father, but then you have to use the argument of has this person earned it? Does that make sense?
Well, that's true. And if that person who you gave away for adoption, then they make the wrong move and they do something wrong, like you think that they took something or screwed you over in some kind of way, you don't
Mm.
have a lot of patience for them. Actually, the blood doesn't matter so much. I think when people say their blood, it's blood plus all the time you spent with them, it really is.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
know. I mean, it's a matter
Hmm.
of being earned. Father is
So tell me more about the being earned thing. You are saying that the person who gave the child away is now, when the child comes back, they expect that child as an adult now has to earn their love
no.
and
What I'm
respect and
trying to say
time.
is that fatherhood and motherhood is something that is earned. Like I'll tell you, the reason I never said I would ever have kids, I didn't think I could earn the right to be a
Oh,
parent.
yeah?
So it's kind of like, you have to be able to earn it. Um, some people can earn it, some people can't. You know, like for
How would
instance,
I earn it? Or
well,
in general?
but all I'm going to tell you is that it's with character, it's with doing the right things. I mean, obviously, I think you've done that with
Oh, no, no, no. I'm saying if I was an adopted,
oh,
adoptee,
adopted. Well, I
adoptee.
think if you're an adoptee and you have a father figure or a mother figure, then I don't think it would be anything to earn. I think it would be just a matter of talking to the person. But sometimes when you think about meeting and having a conversation with someone, it may be very different than what you think it's going to be. You understand what I'm saying?
No, could you repeat that?
Okay, well, like you envision the conversation as being a certain way, but then you meet up with the person, you realize that it's not quite what it is. You know,
Kind of like you have to go in with no expectations because
right?
you could easily be hurt. And it's hard to go in there because you've had your whole upbringing probably wondering and dreaming and daydreaming about who is my mom? What was she like? Who was my real dad? And why? Why did they? They want to know, why did you give me away? Why did you think it was so important to not raise me that it was important for somebody else to raise me, for me to have what I needed? What was wrong? Why couldn't you do it? Why didn't you want to do it? Did you not love me? They'll just say, we did it because we did love you and cared about you because
Yeah.
we couldn't do it for this reason or that reason. So that's really what it is. But it must be so difficult to get. I'm not saying, oh, they gave their baby away. Oh my gosh. I know some people really have no feel like they really just don't have a choice. And that must be the hardest thing to ever do. Your baby out of your body here. I couldn't do it. I would be the one, if I did give my daughter up for adoption, I would constantly be wondering, or, I had twins. The boy didn't make it boy or girl, I would wonder, even just out and about, I'd wonder, is that my boy? You know what I mean? It just would haunt me. Personally, I just would be haunted by it.
Yeah, I know.
And look at you, Johnny, with your tight-knit family living all close together. And even if they're not close, they still come all the time to visit. And it's such a tight family. Can you imagine being out there? And I mean, maybe you wouldn't care because the mom that adopted you would just still be doting on you, and the dad would love you and be patient with you. But the reason I actually came up with the idea to do this topic is because of this crazy story I heard about adoption. This lady gave her daughter up for adoption because she was one of those very young ones who got pregnant by accident, and her mom really almost forced her. She felt really forced. Well, all of a sudden, years later, not all of a sudden, 20 years later, she gets a letter in the mail and she's thinking that, oh, wow, my daughter, she had always thought of her, she's coming to look for me. And it wasn't. It was saying that the daughter that you gave up for adoption is has been missing, and yeah, she was abducted and she was missed. She was missing for all those years. So that birth mother took it upon herself to do all the research and found they had never found the man who did it. And guess who was raping her and ended up murdering her and burying her in the backyard? Her adoptive father.
Wow.
And the mother was turning a blind eye too. Even though, and he finally confessed, she still was not even believing it. So it was quite a good documentary. It's on Netflix right now. And it's a true story. Obviously, the lady was on it. It's just so sad because she always wondered in that letter she got, she was like so excited she was going to be able to maybe meet that daughter, and then to find out and then they actually, if it wasn't for that mother who got involved, the real biological mother, they never would have found her body. She actually told the police where to look in the backyard, and they looked and dug, but they didn't dig up the right couple of feet over there, and they had to go back, and sure enough, that's where her body was.
Wow. Hmm.
So we had a lot to talk about this. So, my brother Jeff, he did call me recently since I moved into this new apartment. Moving is chaotic. And I said, let me unpack and get organized, and I'd love to have you over. And we're gonna rekindle our relationship a little bit because it's been about 5 years now, I think, since I've
Hmm.
seen him. And, he's a really good producer. We should put him to work for us.
Did you tell them about the show?
Yeah,
What did he
yeah.
say?
Oh, I don't know. It was a long time ago. It's like literally when I first started, Johnny. So maybe he's
Okay.
been listening and thinks it's great. We'll see. I don't know, but I sure do think it's great. And thanks everybody for listening. Hey, shoot us a note if you have any stories. I'd like to do a part 2 on that other topic we did on boredom, Johnny. We can't see you.
Hmm.
Johnny.
Okay.
Okay. Boredom. I have some more thoughts on boredom because it's more of a serious issue than we all think it is. So we're going to do a part 2 on boredom soon, and please follow us here on Spreaker to get all of our show times or show updates on our new episodes, which is
All
a
right.
1 or 2 a week. Thanks. All right. X us and Facebook us and Instagram us.
All right.
Thank you,
Night,
Johnny.
everyone.
Good night, everybody.